Welcome back to 3 with NGK. I'm Nicole.
I'm Grace.
I'm Karina.
And we have a guest joining us today. We're so happy to have
Brione Wishart, founder of ARTLEE Creative and The Hustle Never Dies.
Guys,
Awesome.
we should also emphasize this is his lovely studio that we've been blessed to have the last few times we've visited for the support and all that stuff. So definitely excited to get to know you a little bit better and the public to get to know what you do.
And we love the space. I mean, the lighting is amazing. Just look at us
Amazing.
all. Come on. Thank you
on.
for hosting us here, honestly.
Honestly.
What I wanted to understand is what really motivated you to start Hustle Never Dies? And what is Hustle Never Dies?
Okay, well, The Hustle Never Dies to me is, I look at humans, like every hustler, our bodies, our minds are just vehicles for the hustle, right? So for me, it's like, I'm gonna die, everybody's gonna die, but the hustle's never gonna die. Somebody else is gonna take it and run with it. So for me, like the mindset of the hustle will never die. Even though I die, it's still gonna continue going.
Got it.
The reason why I started it was because I'm a hustler. Like it's in my DNA. Like my mother's side of the family, we're pretty much all entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And ever since I was a kid growing up, my mom was just always instilling that in me. Like be your own boss, control your own destiny, work for yourself. Big on ownership.
Wow.
So growing up, that's all I really heard. Even though my mom worked jobs, she still had a side hustle forever until she was able to leave her full-time job and do her business full-time. So
Right.
it was just examples. in front of me.
Okay.
The other half, like my dad was like his family, they're like working class people. Like they work bank, stuff like that.
Right.
But it was a good balance.
Right.
So it gave me work ethic.
But also there's discipline to
The
know that you need
discipline,
you're like it's okay to be like it's okay to clock in and clock out, like and be around other individuals that are clocked in, clocked out. So.
And sometimes use that lifestyle to fund
That's right.
your entrepreneurial
Talk about it.
endeavors,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not against people having a 9 to 5. Like if that's your lane, that's your lane.
Yeah, everybody's built differently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
So
cool.
I'm not gonna shit on you because you want to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
100%. So what is Hustle Never Dies? What's it about? What do you do? What's under that?
The Hustle Never Dies is a lifestyle brand.
Okay.
So we're all about ambition, hustle, and community. So the brand pretty much, the inception of the brand was like the beginning of COVID.
Oh, so you just started?
Wow.
Yes, it just started.
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
Okay.
A little bit over a year.
You've been doing it forever.
No, it's just a little bit over the year. And because of what we were going through during COVID,
Of course.
people needed like some motivation, some
course.
inspiration
Of course.
to kind of figure things out because people are losing their job, getting laid off and all that
Right.
stuff. So I think
Right.
the message just resonated with people
Right.
a lot. And, I'm somebody that believes in trust is the only currency that matters, right? So I've been able and fortunate enough to build some really cool relationships like with athletes, celebrities,
I saw
very
that.
successful business people, and they support what I do. So when I started the brand, I just started sending clothes out to like different celebrities and people with influence, and they got
Love that.
behind it, and
Love that.
obviously that helped a
Yes.
lot. And then marketing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
yeah, the Hustle Never Dies it's a lifestyle brand, but I'm working on making it bigger than that. Like I would love to open a resource center for kids to come in, something similar to this but bigger with more things for them to do, right? More
Accessibility
access,
and
more
resources, yeah.
right? So who knows? Maybe in a year or two, you'll see
something
some more growth. But COVID is kind of like, I've been a little stagnated because of COVID. I can't really travel,
Yeah.
right? Like I was supposed to be in the U.S. and I have a lot of people that are like, come out here. I can't come to Canada, but you could come to me. We could do interviews, we could do photo shoots.
love that.
And these are the things that would have took the brand to the next level.
yeah.
But
Agree.
timing is everything.
It is.
Agree.
Timing is everything.
Nothing
yeah.
before it's time.
That too.
Exactly.
Nothing before
And
it's
this is
time.
an opportunity now for you to really
Yes.
build things,
Exactly.
start
Yes.
from the ground up,
Yes.
establish the right connections.
That's right.
And then when as soon as the border opens up,
Yeah.
it's go.
Like
Yeah.
go time.
Go time.
Execute
Like, you know?
Yeah.
everything.
And
Yeah.
one of my favorite quotes is always like, you know, I always like put it up every so often, like preparation meets opportunity. And I think, so how do we know Brione, guys? So I started following him, and I don't know how we, like who, but sometimes like people, you know how they send you suggestions on Instagram and Facebook? And so some suggestions, I'm like, why do you even suggest this person? Like, there's nothing we have in common. But I remember seeing his suggestion. I was like, I'm following this person. I went to his page. I'm pretty sure I spent an hour one day because I
Really?
was just like researching him, and like he's just doing so much. I'm like, it's just, I can't even keep up. But what I liked is that you're so authentic with your audience. Like, you're very authentic. What you post is actually very genuine.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. And then I just figured, I've been wanting to have you on. I've been wanting to like invite you out, but we just never had. We were inviting so many people, and we didn't have an arena. And like starting this summer, we really wanted to start bringing out entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
To get exposed, and also we want to know who's out there like partnering
Yeah.
with people and
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I just think your vision is just pretty dope. And
Thank
I've been
you.
wanting to buy a set of your tracksuits like for the winter. So winter is coming, so I strategically invited you at the right time.
I'm gonna hook you
Just
up.
so that people are like, you know what I mean, like nice and cozy up. But I don't want to get too much into it, but like I've seen when he talks about collaboration, guys, you got to give to receive.
Yeah.
And this is a true definition of a giver first. Like a lot of people go out there and like, oh, support businesses. Oh, you know, I can't stand people that are not supporting me right now. I started a new and the people are over announcing people are not supporting them. But what are you doing for other people? What are you other? And like, when I say he gives, like this guy's out there giving to the youth, the communities, like he say, like he's giving out, like just sending out things. That's how you have to start. You gotta be generous. And that's how you expose yourself. A lot of these celebrities and successful people had to give first. And a lot of people are so ready, they're so entitled and so determined, like you gotta support me first before I put out. So shout out to you for just, you're not even expecting nothing.
No.
We messaged him as a guest and he was just like, why don't you just use my studio? Why, like come and check out my studio and just use it. So that's just a definition of how collaboration really starts. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Value that. Value that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to jump straight on into another question. What were some of your biggest challenges when starting your businesses?
Probably like taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Now, did you hire a professional or did you try to tackle that on your own?
Being an entrepreneur, hustler, I try to do everything myself.
Like, let me figure this out. Let me figure this out. Forget about the expert. Forget about the subject matter, experts. Let me try this on my own.
Yeah.
And what's your biggest takeaway or lesson from that?
If you don't do your taxes properly, you're gonna miss out on a lot of tax benefits, and it might slow down your progress for like buying properties and stuff like that because you need to show all these things on paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So tax is your biggest, like that was your biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, for entrepreneurs, anyone starting a new business, get on top of your taxes. Consult with a professional if you need to.
Yes.
If you were to start your business all over again, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently?
Yeah.
Probably get on top of my taxes.
Avoid his biggest challenge.
Right from the rip, it would be, hire a really good accountant and have them kind of like map out how my business should run and, find an accountant that could help you find grants.
That's
and,
right.
Find all these little
Of
loopholes
course.
for you
Right.
so you could get money and stuff like that. But
You're right.
yeah, trust me, as an entrepreneur, the first thing you want to do is handle your taxes and start working on, if it's something that you're going to be pursuing for a long term, taxes and trademarking. Like those are, because trademarking takes about 2 years before it even gets to their desk to review.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Got it.
Yeah.
and if you don't have your trademark, you could be screwed in that. You could dump like 100,000 into your brand,
Right.
and then somebody just owns your trademark and you can't
Wow.
do anything
That's
with
crazy.
it.
That's crazy.
That's
to know.
great advice because I've heard that a lot.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
So
and
that's,
then you can't fight it and stuff like that.
It's too
That's like that's
Yeah.
like gems right there. That's like a gold piece right there.
Most people won't tell you that,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you.
Because you're a generous person.
Yeah. No, it's just I want to see people succeed.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
And
a
these
good
are like
DNA.
just small things that you could do. Like,
You overlook
Yeah.
these things.
and if you can't decide on like a good accountant, look for a mentor, somebody that you respect in business, and then ask them.
Yeah.
Who's your accountant?
I think mentorship is so underrated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are hesitant to ask someone who they respect, someone who's doing what they're already doing, because they go in with the assumption that that person isn't willing to help. That person isn't willing to guide them and mentor them. But a lot of people are just out there with all this wealth of knowledge
Yeah.
and just, willing to give it away.
Actually,
right?
though.
So I think that what you just mentioned is key. Like mentorship is
Mentorship
huge.
is key.
Yeah.
It's helped me advance as a businessman fast.
Yes.
I made I haven't made a lot of mistakes because my mentors kind of showed me like don't do this, don't do that. Obviously
There
you
you
don't
go.
follow everything your mentor said
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have their own path
Right.
Yeah.
and yours is a little different, but
But there's definitely pieces of
they're gonna
gems.
help you avoid a lot of mistakes because mistakes cost money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what you
Mistakes
learn.
cost
Oh,
money. I
this
love
costs
that.
me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
As
love
a
that.
slogan,
That's
mistakes
a
cost money.
Brione
And the thing
Wishart,
is, yeah, 100%. And the thing is too, like we're trying to use this platform as a pathway for a lot of entrepreneurs as well. Like, we've kind of segued into, if you watch the podcast, like we start off in dating and relationships, we've segued into business, entrepreneurship, to really
Leveling up.
highlight businesses in the city, local businesses, to understand like what has your journey been like, right? And for people watching, we want to create that platform to say like, okay, this is an avenue for you. This is the type of approach that you should take. Mentorship is important to kind of highlight those things so that people aren't
That's
making
dope.
the same mistakes, because mistakes cost
Money.
Yeah.
money. Exactly.
Tweet that.
Exactly. On to the next question I have for you, Brione. Next question is, how important is it? Let's separate motivation and discipline. How important is motivation versus discipline, and what's the weight?
Motivation is, for me, it's like almost like a crutch for people, right? I hear people saying like, I'm not motivated right now, so I don't feel like working, right?
Yep.
But the world doesn't stop for you,
Yeah.
right? So for me, it's like, if you really want to be successful, you have to be disciplined. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
If you want, like, for example, if you want to have your hot girl summer body or whatever, right? You have to put in work.
Not 2021.
You gotta go
Next year.
running. You gotta work out. You gotta skate. You gotta eat better.
Right?
If you want results, you gotta put in the
That's
work.
a fact.
Yeah.
100%.
And everybody knows this because everybody has tried something, whether it's losing weight, working out, trying to quit smoking, or whatever it is.
Something.
You're right.
You have to be disciplined because otherwise, than that, you're gonna have half-ass results.
You're right.
Pretty
That's
much,
true.
right? So
That's true.
Yeah.
discipline is, forget like motivation, just go straight to discipline. Man.
It's funny.
So you feel like you don't necessarily need motivation, but you need the discipline to
motivate yourself.
overcome that lack of motivation.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, if you want to be successful, you have to be
Yeah.
disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a true story. It's funny that you say that. So I was reading this book, Atomic Habits, and I'm actually kind of rereading it again. And it really breaks down how you should like stop being just motivated, like actually create a system.
Yeah.
Because motivation can only take you so far, but until you create a system that will work for you, it's only gonna continue being a motivation. What happens is you're motivated, you accomplish this one piece, and then tomorrow you wake up. So you accomplish that piece and you're high. Okay, so kind of like you've had a stressful week, right? And you're motivated to go out to meet up with your girlfriends on Friday night.
Yeah.
So you're so motivated, and then Friday night you do that, and then the high is gone.
Yep.
And then you come to Saturday morning, now what now? right? Because there was no system created.
Yeah.
So there has to be a system there. Like, even if you enjoy going out drinking or whatnot or whatever, there has to be a system there for you that's so natural, right? And what I liked about him that he talked about was, we wake up in the morning, we know, like, what did you just say? You go to the bathroom, you go pee, whatever, right? Like, there's so many habits that are so natural to us, right?
Yeah.
But no one wants to think of how to be disciplined. Those are the same habits our parents help us create.
Yeah.
But they had to create systems for us to follow. Now they're so habitual they don't feel like it's work. The problem with today's society, everybody's motivated, but everybody's forgetting the piece of work because no one is creating systems. So, and I think the goal is create a system, and you got to read that book because it's like no other successful motivational book. Like, it simplifies everything. Like, literally, eat your popcorn, drink your wine. In between that, add that one thing that you wanna achieve. Yeah. So that way you're not losing your own routine, because what people do is they stop and clear out everything they do, and that's not realistic to start something new. And that's not how discipline is created. So
systems are super important.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not
Especially
easy.
with like social media and all the distractions. If you're in a relationship, whatever. There's a lot of distractions, and it makes it hard to be disciplined. But if you do have a system in place, it will make it easier for you.
You gotta have a system that you don't break. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, atomic habits.
Well, while your business is starting to grow, and you start creating partnerships with other entrepreneurs, what are some of the qualities you're looking for in those partners?
Communication is number one for me. Like, I feel like I'm a very understanding person, and if you're gonna be late, just call me.
Yeah.
Give me the opportunity to correct the situation, and don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Right? And wondering when you're gonna show up. You give me a heads up, 10 minutes ahead.
Communication.
I'm gonna be 5 minutes late. Okay, now I know what I need to do. I need to step in.
I have this,
and fill that void and make sure everything's cool.
Facts.
Yeah. So communication, work ethic.
Yeah.
I'm a hard worker. I love to work.
Yes.
So anybody that's gonna be running with me has gotta be like this.
Got it.
Because I don't have the patience for like slow people.
Yeah.
I like things done. Like, let's just bang it out, right?
Okay.
We got 24 hours in a day. I'll give you a short story. With me, it's like I want to create a space where I could create anything in a day. Because I feel like with all the technology that we have and all the creative people that I'm surrounded by, I can make anything.
Yeah.
I should be able to design a shirt or a tracksuit in a day.
I like
Limitless.
that.
Yeah,
Limitless.
I can go
Absolutely.
and
I like that.
purchase the jogging suit, hit it with the print machine, take a couple of photos, and boom, launch it.
Love it.
Bam.
Just
Love
like
it.
that,
I like that.
right?
I
Absolutely.
absolutely
And
love
you're
that.
right.
I can literally build a website now.
If you wanted
You
to.
absolutely can right now.
So there's no reason why we gotta wait 2 weeks to launch a website.
Yeah.
It's all about how you're prioritizing your time.
And the people that you partner
The
with
partner
have to share
with.
that same
Vision.
sentiment.
The energy's gotta be the same.
It
Yes.
has to be in sync.
Yeah.
So communication, work ethic,
Okay.
and
Doers, it looks like it.
people that like to get shit done. They don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
Time is money, money is time, and
facts.
who knows? Tomorrow I might not wake up. So
Exactly.
let's just get this work done today
Let's just go.
and leave our mark.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
So those are like the main two things I look for.
So what's your direction? Where do you see yourself taking this next? Your brand, yourself, all of that.
Well, my life goal would be to build like schools, resource centers, work with kids, work with like homeless people.
Nice.
Go back to Guyana, go to Jamaica, Africa, all these places, and provide resources for people.
So you have a social
Absolutely.
cause
Yeah.
at the
Core.
foundation and the core of your business.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
It's
that.
like amazing.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I just don't know
When you
anyone that
can
has
really
done
make a
that. Like,
difference.
honestly, when we are all fighting for this, Black Lives Matter and being together and Black businesses, this is the business I want to support. People that think like you.
Yeah.
So when y'all see me out there not supporting you, I'm like, listen, do your thing, do your damn thing. But like, I'm here like here to like support businesses that are putting out and have a bigger agenda than just Canada.
Yeah.
Let's not focus. Let's not stop. Don't focus on just what Canada is doing to you. Not like you have, like he said, like there's Africa, there's Jamaica, there's Caribbean. There's people out there that will accept your ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Look beyond the spectrum. Stop begging these governments that will not look at you the same way to support you, and stop hating on your own people. Like, anyways.
But at the same time, don't just work with people just because they're black. Like,
Let's not do that.
It's
Yeah.
work ethic as well.
Work
like,
ethic.
No, I'm working with people just because they're black.
I'm working with people
And
that
that's
have good,
And that's
just
okay.
fine. But
That's
the
fine.
thing is, that's why a lot of businesses fail. Like, they don't have the work ethic behind
Yes.
them. Like, they
Yes.
continue.
That's essential as well. But I think
Yeah.
it's important to find black businesses who
Oh,
also have
yes.
the work ethic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if you have the work ethic, I'm supporting you, but I'm not supporting you just because you're black. Period.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
honestly,
saying
you
that
can't lack.
I'm honestly,
You know, the other
I'm
thing.
that person that just because you're black and I'm not supporting you, I'm doing that intentionally. You actually have to show me what your vision is beyond you
Exactly.
looking good on social media, beyond you like actually gaining what it is that you want to gain. I gotta see, like I'm hearing youth, I'm hearing the homelessness.
Yeah.
Those are not pretty sights.
No.
Those are pretty sights. And like
But I'm
as an
okay with
African,
that.
seeing
Yeah.
like people that actually need
Yeah.
this help, or been to the Caribbean how many times? I'm in Jamaica like 7 times a year. There's schools and there's people that need more.
Yeah.
If I see your business supporting these causes, holler at me. I swear to God, I'm
Yeah.
supporting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wanna
like,
get
you know what I
involved.
mean? I want to get
Yeah.
involved. But if we're just doing because you started a business and you're begging for support, I haven't seen you do shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, not doing it.
It's funny,
Yeah.
man. Like, have you ever read the book The Go-Giver?
No.
You should read it.
Okay.
Who's the author?
I can't remember the author, but it's
Go-Giver.
one of my favorite books that I've read. Like, one of my good friends gave it to me to read. So he gave me The Go-Giver and The Four Agreements, and those.
The 4 agreements, come on.
Yeah, that's.
Be impeccable with your word. I feel
Yeah.
like you're impeccable with your word.
Thank you. But The Go-Giver taught me that, you know, if an opportunity presents itself to me and I'm not able to tackle it, I should pass it on to somebody else that deserves it.
Wow.
Right?
Absolutely.
So people always ask me,
Yes.
like, what would you do if you made $100 million?
What would you do actually? I want to know.
I would build schools.
Yeah.
My God.
Obviously, the first thing I would do is buy a big piece of land and build my
Yeah.
house. And
You don't want,
da-da-da.
gotta take care of yourself before you take care of people. They actually,
Yeah.
what do they advise you when you're flying? Put your own oxygen mask first. Make sure you're
Exactly.
good before you take
I
care
mean,
of
if I
other people, so
can't
that's okay.
respect myself, help myself, then I can't do that for nobody else.
I agree.
It's true.
Right? So you have to put self first.
I agree.
But the first thing I'm always thinking of, like, how can I help people? How can I do this?
Yeah.
I
You know,
love that.
growing
Yeah.
up as a kid, like, my mom was working 2 jobs, and, you know, as a kid, I used to get into a lot of trouble, right? So when we came to Canada, it was me, my mom, and my little sister.
Okay.
My dad stayed back. So once my mom got landed immigrant status and her citizenship, she
Yep.
was sent for my dad. So from 7 to 9,
Yeah.
I mean 7 to 16, my dad was in Guyana.
Oh,
And
wow.
then he came when I was 16.
Wow.
So
Wow.
he wasn't in my life for 9 years. It
Yeah,
was just
that's
my
a long
mom.
time.
Yeah.
That's a long
I didn't
time.
realize
That's
you were
like
born
actually.
in Guyana as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's like, I lost track of what I was saying, but
No, you're on track. So carry
Yeah.
on. Yeah. So you want to build schools? So you can talk
yeah, I
about
want to build
schools.
schools.
So you have a
and-
passion
and-
for that
and give
and-
back. I also feel like we have so many billionaires, millionaires
Yeah.
in Canada and in the U.S. around the world.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be homelessness,
It's true.
I agree.
especially in California. California is the richest state in America.
And has
has
the
the worst
highest
problem.
rate of homelessness.
I
Right?
agree.
Like
Yeah.
I went there
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe in my eyes. I told someone like, please drive me to downtown LA because I hear this. I don't
Yeah.
believe it.
Skid Row.
It's
Yeah.
sad.
I was
Yeah,
actually
honestly
like
sad.
low key like, why am I even participating in some of this like riches?
It's like you meet people and then you see heart, you know. And
Yeah.
this is like you guys don't know, but this is the first time I'm meeting him right now,
Yeah.
and it's like I could see your heart. You know, like you have a genuine interest in investing in communities.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You're about a social cause,
Yeah.
and like this is the kind of change I want to see in the
Me
world.
too.
It's like
me too.
backing these types of entrepreneurs,
Facts.
backing these types of businesses that are saying, you know
Yes.
what, I'm here, I got this going on, but this is what's behind it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
This is why I'm
these
doing
are-
it.
Exactly. And I love that you're about that. And I love that you've done, you know, your due diligence and your research. You
Yeah.
know, you're focused on specific areas
Yeah.
to make a
You're very
difference.
intentional.
Yeah. You
And
gotta
we
know
need
your
to see
lane.
more of that.
Yeah.
You have to know your lane. Absolutely. Absolutely.
you've talked about what you want to do in your future. You've also talked about what really inspired you? So your mom was an entrepreneur and whatnot.
Yeah.
You came here with just your mom and whatnot. Was it seeing your mom working 2 jobs that like really inspired you to start this journey?
I remember when I was a kid in Guyana, I used to see my mom making little, we would call it like sweeties, right? Like little, I can't even, like coconut drops. You know, like those little
Sweets.
Yeah, sweets, right?
Yeah.
She would make them in the house. And I remember seeing my mom burning the plastic to seal it. Like I've seen all of that. Loading a cart and going into the town and
selling
And my mom was like
Making
an
profit.
amazing seamstress. She used to make all the dancehall queens of Toronto's.
Wow. Shout out your mom. What's her name?
What's her name?
Roxanne Wishart.
Okay,
Shout
Roxanne.
out Roxanne. Yes, Roxanne. Hustler from time.
Listen.
Sweets and the dance
She's
hall.
later now?
No, she's older now.
Okay.
But she had a good run, man. I used to have like all the big reggae DJs like Metro Media. And
Wow.
Jara. All these people used to come to my house. I remember Missy Me when she was like
Big. Yeah.
sidekick, whatever the crew was called. But she used to be at my house. All these dancehall queens used to be at my house.
Coming for their outfits for the next
And I remember watching the
Pasa.
tapes, like the VHS tapes.
You know that was going
All
on.
these dancehall shows, and my mom would be like, "Yeah, that's Nikki," and blah, 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 and
Wow.
she's wearing this. So it's examples.
It's just been in your
Yeah.
it's been in your environment.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a natural thing for
Yeah.
you. Like that's why
My
it's
grandfather
like a bigger,
used to run a business out of the family house where they used to do windows and carpentry.
Okay.
And my uncle
Yeah.
right up the street
Wow.
had a tire shop.
Wow.
So you
Wow,
literally grew
okay.
up with just
Like,
seeing
wow.
Your
people-
whole
That is
family,
why-
and 9 to 5 was
Boston.
not in your
That
destiny
was
at
not
all.
your destiny at all.
No.
Like just
Okay.
where you're set up.
Not saying I did it
Uh-huh.
because my mom made sure I was working as soon as I started grade 9.
You're working.
I mean, I had a job at like 11.
What was your first job?
My first job was canvassing for Toronto Sun.
Okay.
When I think about it now, my mom
Okay.
was crazy. My mom used to send me out with some strange Indian guy. Me,
Yeah.
Oh my
another
God.
white kid and like another black kid. These little kids, and this guy would just send us into the building with this pad, and we would just have to sign people up. And this was like
Wow.
in the evening. And I'm like thinking about it now, like shit.
But she's
I
teaching
coulda got
you.
That's
kidnapped.
crazy.
So, like,
She taught you worth ethic.
Yeah.
though.
That's like
Your
sales.
mom knew what
That's
she
like a
was doing.
sales machine level.
Yeah,
That's how she
yeah.
built you.
That's
Because
like crazy.
especially kids nowadays, like do you have children?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, among us, I'm the only one with children. And I find that kids nowadays, they're mad lazy. When I have a 12 and 13-year-old, right? And like, when I was 12, I had 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I was babysitting, I had a paper route,
Yeah.
and I was also shoveling driveways on the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had 3 sources of income at the age of 12. My kids now, it's like, you offer them money to do things, they're like, oh, $20? That's not enough money. Can you
imagine?
excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was taking all the money I got, but it's like you have to train them at this point in time to have that work ethic, or else,
Early
like,
age.
I mean, clearly I didn't do a good job because they're lazy as shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, you have to.
It's not you.
You have to instill
Sometimes
it.
it's not
It's
all
like
in you.
technology. It's a lot.
sometimes
It is. It's
It's
But
technology.
also
on
sometimes
YouTube and all that.
experience
Yeah,
is the right
absolutely.
teacher, right? Like sometimes they gotta
Exactly.
experience life as well.
Exactly.
My mom always says like I could
You
do
have to
everything.
instill that stuff
I'll
in them
I'll
from
tell you
young.
guys and everything, but you can never come back and say your mom never told you this. You guys
Yeah.
go out there and do whatever you want
Yeah.
to do. You are given all the resources. Sometimes
absolutely.
they gotta make their own mistakes and
Yeah.
lie and cry and come back to you and actually work
Absolutely.
hard.
And in this day and age, it's like you have to instill what you can in them now. They'll
you
make their
can.
own path
Exactly.
from there. Yeah.
Exactly.
We just want them to be ahead of the class. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like for
That's
instance,
every
my son
parent's
comes
goal.
in here once a week and he cleans the studio.
Oh,
That's his job.
I love
But
it.
before I gave him the
Good.
job, I said, I'm not teaching you to be an employee. I'm teaching you how to make money.
How old is he?
He just turned 15.
15
Wow.
15-year-old, eh? Whoa. I was not expecting that.
Nobody does.
Whoa.
So young yourself.
I know, you look so young. You have a 15-year-old.
29.
But then again, I have a 13-year-old, so I mean, I guess it's the same idea.
Hey, you never know. I knew girls that had kids at 14, 15.
Yeah. For
That's
sure.
true, that's true.
Wow. So he's cleaning, learning the business. Okay. I like
Speaking,
that.
I'm glad that we were talking about young ones because I was just about to ask you, what advice would you have for young entrepreneurs that are looking to become entrepreneurs and stuff like that? Seeing that you're now training your son not to be an employee and to be an entrepreneur, as much as you're giving him a job, so technically he's your employee. But how are you advising these young kids?
First of all, he doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Right? I'm pretty much planting a seed where this is a business that you could start. Right? So I already told him, like, you do a good job at this and you want to pursue this and make money on the side, you could end up hiring some of your friends to come help you do this.
Ooh.
Right? I know a lot of people that own businesses and they need their offices cleaned.
Okay.
Right? So you could be 16 making $2,000 a month.
Okay.
Right? So for me, it's just planting seeds in his head
That's good.
to start
Beautiful.
a business from young.
Beautiful.
Showing him the opportunity, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Right?
And then letting him decide.
Yeah.
Not choosing for him. Like, this is what I'm going to show you. Like, now it's up to you to like take it or not.
And this is just one thing. You don't have to do it.
But like, so apart from your son, when a young entrepreneur like will look at you, the same way, like, what I mean, I saw you on the ground, like, this guy's doing big things, and like, what if I was a young kid, especially a young Black man, and I'm like inspired by you, but I'm nervous to reach out to you. What advice would you give?
You can reach out to me, man. I'm excited.
Well, other than that, like, what advice would you give them? They want to be entrepreneurs.
Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of people tell you you can't do things that they're scared to do.
Including your friends.
Especially your friends and your family.
And your family.
Right? And sometimes they do it out of love.
Yeah. They don't know better.
Absolutely.
They don't know better. Right?
But it's their own fears that they're projecting on you. I had that happen to me recently, actually, when I was considering a job offer, significantly more money, but a little bit more risk in the sense that it was new. And I had family members telling me, you know what, just stay in the safe zone. You have a good thing now going. You're making good, stable income, etc. Encouraging me to stay with that same thing. But it's like sometimes you need to step outside of that. You need to tune out the extra noise because sometimes family can be noise. And you need to just pursue what you think is best for you based on what your goals are. So I like that you said that.
And don't worry about failure. You're gonna fail. Yeah. It's inevitable.
That's a part of success.
It's part of success.
Yes.
And you're never failing unless you actually quit.
Facts.
Right? So
True.
Facts.
you're gonna fail, but you're gonna learn something.
You're never failing unless you actually quit.
So then are you really even failing if you learn something?
You're never failing.
You're never failing.
Yes.
Unless you quit.
Exactly.
Unless you just tap out and say, I'm not doing it anymore.
Exactly.
Wow.
But every time you
Absolutely.
fail, you're gonna
That's
learn
big.
a lesson, and unless you're applying, you're gonna be doing this.
I love that.
You're just gonna be running in circles. But
Absolutely love that.
every failure, you're gonna learn something.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. So my next question was, are you single?
No.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
Happy relationship? And how did you navigate finding the one?
She found me.
She found you.
How?
How did that happen?
It's a funny story.
Let's hear it. We like
It's
to
a funny
laugh.
story, but it felt like destiny, right? So me and my boys, when you're younger, you used to go. I grew up in Brampton, right? So every weekend we would go downtown and hang out and drink and smoke and whatever. And one day or one weekend, I was taking the GO bus downtown, and her and her friend were literally behind me.
Okay.
Right, but we didn't actually meet each other until later that day. They were walking up and down Young Street, and my boys were just hanging out trying to chop every girl that passed.
I mean, this is what we, they do back there.
But I was just chilling in the back, chilling in the cut.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was like, yo, tell that girl to come here. And she came to me, and it was weird. It was like a mist. It was like a foggy night, and she came through the fog. And, and then we met, and then later on, she told me, well, the reason why she even called me is because I had really nice handwriting.
How did she even know that you had nice?
I had a
wrote your
business card.
That you hand wrote.
No, I had a business card, and then on the back, I wrote my phone number because I only had like my page number.
Those days you
Right.
didn't have the cell phone as
Yeah, it was like a pager or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote my number and a fake name.
Wow.
Whatever.
It is what it is.
So I wrote my number, and she told me the only reason I called you back is because I really liked your handwriting.
Aw.
Wow.
She told you that.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, her friend was like, "Yo, that was the same guy we were sitting behind on the go bus."
Oh, okay.
And then once we
No.
started talking, she literally lived like 5 minutes away from us.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So how long have you been dating who you're with right now?
Yes.
20 plus.
20 plus years?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's not dating, but
You're in a relationship.
20
Yeah.
plus years.
Yeah.
And you never looked back
Wow.
from when you met her.
Wait, what?
yeah.
So we were asking, literally.
Oh my goodness.
We had an episode. I don't know
I'm a
if you
rider,
saw.
man.
I don't know if
Still
you-
the wheels fall off with me.
You know what? I love your commitment. First of all, I love that. We asked a question. I have to segue.
100%.
One of the questions.
We need to know at this point, as it pertains to Nelly.
It's crazy because we had an episode. If you watch our last episode, and the first question we asked was, a lot of women complain. I've been with this guy for over 10 years, 7 years, and they didn't put a ring on it. And are we just here cruising? I don't know where my role stands and all that stuff. And then, sure enough, we've seen a lot of these women, like the Cassies and the Nelly's wives and the Shanties. After 10-year and some relationships, this man, the relationship ends. Why is that? Like, why in this long? What's your purpose? Like, to be with somebody for 20 plus years? What's your ultimate goal with this person?
Just happiness. Just
Happiness.
Do you
Build-
believe in
building each
marriage?
other.
Do you
Does
believe
she
in
want
marriage? or
marriage?
no?
Does she believe in marriage, wedding?
We both don't believe in marriage.
Oh, so
Oh,
then you guys are fine.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
So that makes
I mean, she got a
sense.
nice ring. But
Okay.
that,
Wait,
that
you gave her a
was-
ring too?
Huh?
You gave her a ring?
Yeah. But the ring for me was just to symbolize, and the way I did it was when I got her the ring, because I have a son and a daughter, right? So I made them,
With her?
yeah.
Oh.
So I had my son, my daughter, and my wife, and I gave her the ring in front of them. And I
Wow.
told
Oh my
them,
gosh.
I can't right now.
So you you call her
Oh
your
my
wife,
God.
even though you never went
I
through
mean,
the horrible.
legally we are common law.
So
Right?
you guys are
Yeah,
engaged then?
No, we're not engaged.
Oh, so
I just
you
gave her
don't-
a ring to let her know and to let my kids know, like, this is forever.
Oh, but you
Like-
don't believe in the
We don't believe in the whole, like,
Ceremony.
ceremony
beautiful
and paperwork.
So, but you
That
still
answers our
call her your wife.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to answer a question because
does.
we haven't gotten a guy to come on and answer that question.
Yeah.
What a perfect way to answer that
Yeah,
from a
that's
man's
beautiful.
perspective.
And
in
you know
front
what
of
the funny thing is,
kids.
like, there's guys, some of the guys that were with me that day, they were in relationships, and once we got to like that 10-year, most of them got married.
Oh.
And then a year later, they all got divorced.
Wow.
Like literally every single one of my friends that got married
Yeah.
after long-term relationships
Yeah.
got divorced.
And you guys are
We
20.
were
So
the
you-
only ones that left standing.
So your son is 15 and your daughter is how old?
She's 10.
10.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful example that
Yeah.
you're setting, though.
Absolutely love it.
You
No,
know,
it was
it just,
important to
like-
me to let them know,
course.
like, this is, you don't have to get married to be
Yeah.
Feel
committed.
secure.
To be committed to something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
like treat
yeah.
that. I'm gonna treat that. I'm gonna return retweet it on so many different levels.
You don't, and that's the
so
thing. Like marriage is
inspirational.
socially constructed.
It is socially constructed.
Right.
And,
And
hey,
it's
there's
like-
nothing wrong with it. If
there's
that's
nothing
what
wrong
you
with
want
it.
to do,
Absolutely,
Go ahead
it's a
and do it.
personal
So what if she wakes
choice.
up one day and she says, "I want a
Yeah.
big wedding, babe," and just do it up for me? Would you do it?
I don't know. I'm the kind of guy that sticks to his guns, right?
You don't like the feeling of marriage.
I don't. Everything I do has to be genuine. So I don't want to just do something because you want to do it all of a sudden, right?
It has to match you too.
It has to. You have to meet me halfway.
Wow.
Okay.
And I think that's why we work. It's not
Yeah.
me just trying to please her all the time. Like they say, happy. What is it?
Happy wife, happy life.
wife. Come on, that's. I think it's like it has to be 50-50. You can't just make one person happy,
Happy and then
put
you're
your
not
happiness
happy. That's
Yeah.
a fact.
on the
I
background.
actually believe in that.
It's not gonna work out. That guy's
Yeah.
gonna cheat on you. I'm
That's
telling you that
that's
guy's gonna cheat on you.
actually
True.
like a
I
fact.
agree.
I
Yeah.
completely
So you don't see marriage at all in your future.
No.
This is how you want it,
No.
which is
Wow,
fine.
I think that's
He
okay.
doesn't, and that's
And I think
fine,
that's
'cause
beautiful.
it's
The way they're
working
so
for you.
healthy and it works for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
And you know what? Like, if I was in your situation, I'm probably that type of person. I'll probably buy my husband that ring too, just to say, Here you go, babe. You know, no pressure on your wife.
How do
but
you
like,
guys feel about marriage?
Good question. You start.
I love the idea of marriage.
What
Just
is it
like-
about marriage that makes you feel secure? Like that guy's not.
It's not a matter of security
So what is it?
at all. To me, I just like the idea of marriage. So the idea of calling someone my husband, the idea of recognizing them to family members and friends as my husband.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because this is the first time actually today, right
Yeah,
now,
this is
Yeah.
a
that I've heard someone
beautiful,
who's not
yeah.
legally technically married acknowledge someone as their wife in this fashion. But I like the idea of that. I find that like when you're married, as a woman especially,
Yeah.
you're looked at differently as if you have a boyfriend
Yeah.
or a
Yes.
partner.
Yes.
You're recognized differently in
Yes.
society.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I appreciate that stance.
Yes.
I also appreciate a home.
Yes.
And I feel like, okay, so I have 2 children as well. I have a son
Yeah.
and a daughter. And I find that the dynamic of having a man present
Oh,
and
for sure.
having a man as a husband, that dynamic changes significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really bring boyfriends around my children, but I would want to bring someone who's potential for a husband around my children. I just like the idea of a family, and I look at that as homely. Yeah.
You know, you
That's
can
very
have
well
all of
answered.
that
Without being married.
without being married.
No, I know,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
and you've proven that, right?
Yeah.
But like to me, it's like I like again socially, like
Yeah.
I recognize that's a thing, and I also appreciate a nice wedding and that whole traditional sense of things. And I know my family appreciates that traditional sense of things, and I like that. So if
And
I
I-
do find that person, I would want to get married.
I also think that to Nicole's point that depending on how you grew up as well, right? We can't underestimate how that's ridiculously powerful and influential. And we can all try to like say, no, the new way should be this, and this was structured to us, and this is socially normal. This is a socially acceptable thing, but there's this natural piece of us that was almost forced into us unwillingly that became our identity. And this is how we need to be accepted in society. And there's a big part of me that I'm happy that, like, you know, like I'm 37, happy about it. I can't wait to be, I'm 40. Like, I'm not in a rush to get married per se, but if a guy proposes to me, I'm not opposed to that either, but it has to be natural. Because I'll tell you why. To me, it's not because I like the idea of a wedding. Anyone that knows me, I like a good party. I like a good dress up. Like, give me any excuse to go out with my girls and
Yeah.
people and stuff like that.
Be a
So-
bride.
but I don't know that I like being a bride. And I'm
Oh.
grateful that I've seen so many weddings, so many maid of honors and bridesmaids falling apart, and weddings literally becoming the most stressful events to people. In a point where people are financially stressed, relationships are broken, because no one actually understands why they're even doing it. Everybody's out there doing it for family, for friends, for
Yeah.
status, and for comfort. And no one sits down and actually tells you the real deal why they like a wedding. And I say, I'm that person that will say, I like it because I like a party. I'm not doing it for family. My mom doesn't, like, my mom just wants to see me happy.
Yeah.
My family just wants, if I'm pregnant right now, my mom's like, oh my God, hallelujah. Like, wedding or no wedding, right?
Yeah.
Because to her, like, I've done right until like, I'm at my age. So I don't have the pressure to get married. I'm not against it, but I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah.
If it happens, trust me, there'll be a good turn up. There'll be like 5 weddings because
Yeah.
I love a party. Like
Yeah.
there'll be, but I don't know if I need it.
I'm kind of like Nicole with the tradition of it, because I don't even need a wedding. I would go down to the court to do it. It's
Yeah.
just the union,
Okay.
you know, that signifies
Okay.
that we're together. It's not
I like
necessarily the wedding that you have to pay thousands of
Dollars for
and
it.
waste
Got
money.
it.
Like,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
a
it's
lot
just
of
the
people do
use-
that.
The traditional union of just having a husband or
Yes.
something to call a husband. I mean, you're pretty much married anyway.
Pretty
right?
much,
So, like,
actually.
Yeah.
I mean, all you're missing is the paper. So
And yeah, like
But
an
that's how-
official celebration.
it's how everybody has
Their own take to
their own
it.
take to it. So you
For,
know.
for
Well,
me,
that's
it's like when the family component comes into play. You know, obviously my mom's asking like, "When do you get married?" And I'm like, "I'm not. Well, we don't believe in that." And she just left me alone after that.
I like that.
Same thing with her family. But for me, it's like my actions speak louder,
louder.
right? Like I've been here. from the
From
beginning.
For 20 years. I mean, that's
I take care
fair.
of my
Day
kids. I have
one.
great kids. They're very smart. They do well in school.
Wow.
They're well mannered.
Wow.
What's the
Wow.
point?
Like-
And you know what? That's why I love this podcast. And
Yeah.
I love being here and experiencing these type of discussions. Because
Crazy.
it's like you are living proof that you don't need the paper. You don't
No.
need the official ceremony for the government to sign off that, you know what,
Yeah.
this is a marriage. You called her your wife. You've been there. You've shown in proof for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
You've acknowledged her as your wife. You've shown your kids that that's what it is. You don't necessarily need that. So I think that marriage is very much so a personal choice.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you choose to get married, you choose to get married. And it's just as important and it's equal to your scenario where you choose not to get married because you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And it's a beautiful thing to have that choice and just recognize it as such equally important.
So I will say though, there's people like Brione who are actually, in a way, against marriage and don't believe in that. But at the end of the day, don't get it twisted. He's providing for the family. He's doing everything right. He's got the ring. Like he's actually there 24/7. So men out there that are not committed are gonna use examples like this to say, listen, I don't need to get married. See my man over there saying that? Like, no, don't get it twisted. He is actually performing the actions of a man, a real man. Like the only difference is he's just not walking the woman down the aisle because he doesn't need that. Like he's doing all the right actions. So I think a lot of men, when they hear a woman wanting a commitment, they automatically think marriage and automatically like try to curve that and they try to throw it like, oh, all women want marriage and all that. Maybe all women just want a good man that's committed to me and committed to my kids and actually doing everything right. Maybe if you did, if a lot of you men did that, a lot of women might not be wanting marriage. Because I actually may start to think, based on this conversation, that women might actually be seeking marriage for the wrong reasons. Maybe they just want what Brione is already offering to this woman.
They just want what their friends have. They just see what everybody else is doing. That's why they want
And
it.
if they get a man like him, I guarantee you're not going to be crying for a marriage because then
a lot of women really just want the ring, the celebration,
and the status.
And the
status.
Yeah.
And
that
the
realistically,
family
that's what it is.
And it's the family
real.
pressure as well.
And if you're religious too, like your family, if you come from a religious background, they push.
You're
they
right.
push
That's
that on
like
you.
that's
You're
like
right. You're right.
Because it's
Right.
like
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna switch to that. Shout out to you for that. You know, but I had so many other questions, but I'm gonna have to like just tone it down. But a little off topic, all the way off topic. You've been in a relationship for over 20 years, so you might not answer to this, but I know you had boys or men that have talked about this. Do you believe in a whole phase? Like, you know, before someone becomes actually committed to one partner, do you think that people need to go through that? Like, you might not be doing that, you might not have gone through that, but I just want to know as we wrap it up quickly.
I don't.
It's not necessary
I don't think you need to like sleep with a bunch of women.
to really find out yourself.
For what? Like,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, if you do, stay protected.
All right. But you don't
I
think
mean,
it's
if you're gonna
necessary?
have sex with a lot of women, just stay protected.
Got it.
But I don't think you need to do that to find who you are. Like, sex
Okay.
doesn't define who you are.
Got it.
I think your character and how you treat people,
defines who you really are.
that's what really matters at the end of the day.
All right.
Not how well you can put it down in the bedroom.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
I like that.
That's an extra perk. That helps.
Right.
But
But it's not the definition.
It's not.
It's clear you came from a good upbringing.
It's
Like,
very,
you know how to
very
treat a
clear.
woman, you have good intentions, good work ethic.
It's
you know.
amazing. And
And
everybody
my parents were
else-
married.
And your parents
They were married.
They were married, yeah. And you didn't think that deter you. Okay, so now you haven't, pretty much you're in common law, you're pretty much married in your own way, in your own terms as a family. Do you think a side chick can be wifed? And I know you know about this. Like, sorry
Oh
guys.
gosh, Grace, we're going
Get
to
us in that.
Can a side chick be white?
Asking for a friend, you know?
For
From
me,
a man's
it's like,
perspective.
for me, it's like this. And I had this conversation with my son.
Because you know, men have been talking about this. Like, you could be married, but you know this conversations are happening.
Yeah.
People are doing
He
this.
said he has this conversation with his
I know
son.
a bunch of guys.
yeah.
No, but I had a conversation with my son.
How did that take place?
Right?
I'm very straightforward with my
Yeah.
son, right? So I told him, like, you know, if you're gonna be with a woman, be faithful if you feel like the relationship's not working out, before you go out there and cheat or just leave her hanging, figure it out. What's happening? What's wrong? What's the wrong thing that's happening, and try to figure it out. Try to work it out first before you take the other options. And if it doesn't work out, just let her know, like, it's not working out.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need a lot more quality fathers who are involved like
That's
this.
what it is.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot, I'm sure you're aware, especially within the Black community, there's a lot of misguided young men, right? Growing up in families with absent fathers, right? And I think these key messages that are shown are lacking in the community. And it's like the very fundamentals and the basics, like such as this, just to show you, like, hey, son, this is the way to do it. This is the way not to do it. It's so important.
Just be a man of honor.
So, yes.
And to correct you, it happens in every culture.
It does, but I'm gonna highlight that not as much in the Black community.
It's just predominant.
Well,
predominantly.
You're in the Black community.
No, I've talked to many communities.
I've talked to a few communities.
I've talked to many. Trust me.
I'm a man. And I have friends that are all different races.
I would never.
And trust me, all men from every race cheat.
Yeah. No, it's not a matter of cheating.
We know that.
It's a matter of absence from the family role.
Like absent father
predominant in the Black community.
Like absent fathers.
It's predominant.
Because I'll tell you this, before,
because
I love history, and I'll tell you this, before the Civil Rights Movement, the Black community was strong. There was a lot of people were married, a lot of men were present, the people looked healthier. Like, I've done a lot of research.
I believe that.
When I was in Atlantic City doing some work, one of my days off, I went walking around and I found a Black museum. And all the pictures from the 50s and the 60s, the people
Washington,
look beautiful.
D.C.?
No, in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, the people look beautiful.
Yeah,
they were always dressed to the T in suits, and everybody was in shape, and people were married. Like, after the Civil Rights Movement, a lot of things changed in the Black community.
Right.
Yeah,
I think in the States too, they showcase a lot of that. Because when I went to DC, that's why I asked you if it was that, because that was showcased as well in the African American Museum as well.
Yeah, and we owned a lot of businesses.
We owned a lot of businesses.
We controlled a lot of wealth. Like in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, you see where the Jersey Shore is? Black people owned all that land. It's not until after the Civil Rights Movement where people feel like they could go shop at the white stores. They left all their neighborhoods to go shop with white people. And it destroyed all the Black businesses.
So, and we could talk about that. Like that, you just went real deep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You went you went like real deep, and like we'll have to have you back and we can talk about that, no problem. But the reason why I will back her up in a little bit is when you look at the history in Africa as well, right? You go to certain tribes and the presence of a man is not glorified all the way for as long as a man can provide. And you will look at actually certain tribes where we look really back then where a man was allowed to share his wife. And, they'll go to certain villages. And, the woman could be like, it's okay. I mean, that's my friend, that's my cousin. He's here for the weekend. You could go do that, and I'll send you an article with that.
I saw a documentary.
Even the agenda to, and again, this is a major thing, but like the agenda to, one, remove Black men from their family with imprisonment and infidelity.
Right.
And now the new agenda that I personally pay attention to is like the effeminate side of things, right? Like, I think there's been a constant agenda to remove the Black man from his family, right?
So this is not to blame them and to say that it's only Black people that go through this, but there's been a focus in the separation, divide and conquer historically. And based on this, a lot of men haven't found their identity easily. For that reason, there's been a lot of lack in finding your identity. When you lack your identity, guess what? You're not going to take care of a home the way you want to take care of a home. We don't see that in other cultures. Where there was an agenda in this other cultures the same way. Now, these other cultures, they cheat.
Not saying that other cultures don't cheat.
They cheat.
Of course they cheat.
They leave their homes. They are also, there's also white, there's definitely actually an area, like in a white society, where they're deprived and the community is separated. We know that, but we're just talking statistically, though. the black man has been stripped the most.
Yeah,
and for that reason,
targeted the most.
That's
why.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
what it
the
is.
word.
Yeah,
And
that's
at
the
the
word.
same time,
Targeted
like-
the most. Targeted
Yeah.
the most. That's what it is.
At the same time, too, like, it's not always the black man's fault why the relationship doesn't work.
I agree.
Of course
Right?
not.
I
But we never had
completely
that
agree.
conversation.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
have it.
another-
We're
we have that
supporters.
conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
we are
And women
supporters
need
of
to
it.
stop dogging children's
Agree.
fathers.
I agree.
Saying your daddy ain't shit and da da da. Like, you can't, like, plant those seeds in a kid's mind
honestly
and have them hate their
completely
father
agree.
Yeah.
without even
Yeah.
actually getting to know the person.
It's
right?
And
true.
let's talk about so with that's a men perspective. And to your point exactly, these women are not also finding and seeking healing. They're
Yeah.
looking for this black man that's also broken, finding their truth
Yeah.
to heal them.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
No.
So if you feel that your man is not also supportive, also find out where the trauma is coming from.
Yeah.
How can you play your part and making sure your kids also
Yeah.
educated? And how can we do now it doesn't happen easily though. If there's intense trauma and insecurity and a lot of healing, like you just can't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't condone us talking crap about the other. At the end of the day, the kids are gonna hear it, and guess what? They're gonna carry this generational,
Listen, I'm a
momentum
man that
and stuff.
believes the black woman is God.
Listen.
I literally believe that.
Listen, we can go there, but
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I believe that, like,
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I think all life comes from a black woman.
I agree.
I agree.
If
And
you go
historically,
all
it's
the
been
way
proven.
back,
It's been proven, but
and
you know
some
what?
people don't want to hear that. But
There are a
it's-
lot of black people that are not ready for that conversation.
That's
Let's just put
okay.
it that way. And a
That's
lot of
okay.
people. And listen, I'm not here to shun that conversation. Listen, I could go in. I love that conversation, but I just don't think a lot of people are ready to accept that. And it's easier to live in this fake society and fake identities. And let's just say we're all one and we all want to be together and hold each other's hands. But I think it's very important to understand how strong we are and where we stem from,
Yeah.
and use that to our advantage. And let's not use that to separate and divide each other.
Yeah.
And a black man is struggling. Honestly, just tell him straight, respectfully. Tell him how he needs to straighten up respectfully. And if you're not ready to have that conversation and communication, just say, listen, like, I can't stand you, because I think you have a lot to work on. I got to work on myself too. We all got to take responsibility in all parts. So,
Yeah.
so I definitely agree
the
with that.
accountability is important. Just like I
Accountability.
believe
Absolutely, yeah.
black men should be accountable for their mistakes.
Black women
women
should
need
be
to be
very
accountable as
accountable,
well.
and
Yeah.
It's true.
how are we supporting this black man,
Yeah.
and
true.
how are we playing
Yeah.
a part in making sure they're recognized as kings?
Yeah.
Because they just need love and appreciation and patience just to say
Yeah.
what we want.
I mean, we got the whole world against us.
The
Absolutely.
whole
So
world.
we
Literally
have
on
to stick
every
together.
single level.
So we have to be the ones to stand together.
We
Yeah,
gotta
we
be the
have
ones
to.
to stand
That's the
together.
only way it works.
I think
Yeah.
so too. I think
Yeah.
so
And
too.
choose your partners wisely.
Please.
That part.
Don't
Make
just
sure
choose
they're
them off
healed.
the surface,
Yeah. Make sure
like
they're
looks
healed.
and stuff. Like,
That's
do your
right.
due diligence before you have a baby with that
Ask
person.
like
Yeah,
questions and
definitely.
stuff like that. Okay, before we wrap it up, we have like 3 more minutes before we wrap it up. What's the ideal woman to you? Other than, like obviously you have a wife, but like what would you advise young men to look for when it comes to a woman?
Somebody that has strong communication skills.
Strong communication skills, okay.
Yeah.
3 things. 3 minutes, 3 things.
A woman that's willing to work together.
Come in 50-50.
Yeah, like somebody that's willing to build with you,
Yeah.
right? Not just kind of like leaning on you to do everything,
That
pay all
is
the bills and all
Yeah.
that stuff. I think no one person builds an empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be more than one. And then the last would be a woman that's good with children. Because if you plan to be with that woman for a long time, you got to see that she's good with
That's
children.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies, hear that? Hear that from a real man. That's from a real man right there. But anyways, Brione, we can't wait to have you back.
I know.
I
can't wait
definitely
come
want to
back.
unpack so much
Yes.
more as from an intelligent young black man.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the space with us. It was definitely a good time. Thank you for tuning in and joining us as usual. You know what it is.
You guys, thanks so much for joining us again. If you're not already following us on Instagram, please go ahead and do so. Our Instagram is #3 Way with NGK. Go ahead and follow us there. The link in our bio will link you to our YouTube as well as all of the podcast platforms we're on. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of the podcast platforms. And if you're not already following Brione, what is your social media
Shout it
handle?
out.
It's Brione Wishart on IG, LinkedIn, Facebook. Also, you can follow The Hustle Never Dies and ARTLEE Creative.
There you go. There you go.
Nice.
Guys.
Honestly, one more important question. Like, we got so caught up in the conversation. Just one more thing. Other than The Hustle Never Dies, what does it cover? Like, what do you do in Hustle Never Dies?
What do I do in The Hustle
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
Dies?
yeah.
Like I said, it's a lifestyle brand,
Okay.
and we produce shows.
You mentioned other brands as well.
No, ARTLEE Creative is my
ARTLEE.
creative agency, so we do
Okay.
a lot of work with, like, we've done work with Nike,
Okay.
Mercedes, the
Nice.
Germain Hotels.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I seen that.
Yeah.
And one more thing. And he's also a photographer right there. Okay, guys. So it captures the
going
best.
on.
Yeah, a lot going on, guys. Follow him.
Follow him.
But we will be bringing him back so you can tap in a little bit more than what he does. Maybe you'll see some of his work on our page, on our platform. So stay tuned and thank you again. Peace.
Peace, guys.